Welcome, Cosmic Souls. I'm Joy, an energy intuitive and collective empath, and I'm here to deliver this timeless reading of the divine energies. I receive messages from Spirit to help you get up, dust you off, get moving forward again, and basically that's where we go with this. If this message doesn't resonate with you or your situation, leave it for those that is meant for. Not every message is made for every single person, although this will be a timeless reading that goes out to whenever this resonates with you, it will come to you. Already shuffled these a bunch, but we will get going on this. So today when I was meditating and then when I was tapping into what would be the best message for you when you hear this, forgiveness was the main thing that came through. Forgiveness, because not only is it good to forgive, but it opens your heart. And if you want to have an open heart, better connection with source, spirit in general, you can't be holding on to old wounds, old grudges. That closes your heart off, every one of them. Even if you don't remember exactly what caused it, you need to dig in and try to open your heart and just forgive everything, everyone that's ever occurred, whether they intended it or not. And then also forgive yourself, because everybody, whether they mean to or not, causes harm to others emotionally predominantly. And half the time we don't even know it. And so we need to forgive ourselves for that, as well as forgiving others, because, we're not perfect, are we? So let's see. Exactly. Healing the heart. That's exactly where I'm going with this. Spirit was saying that we need to heal our hearts. And how we do that is by forgiving and letting down our guards and opening that up to the world, to others, to source. And that's how we heal the heart and expand out our energy and connect with the collective, right? Another heart over, hands over the heart kind of look going on there. Wish upon a star. The star she's kind of holding over her heart. And a burst of magic. I like this one. This always tends to feel to me an unfurling and opening of the heart, and how we connect up to source, and feel that, intuit it more connected. We're always connected, but to actually feel the connection is the trick, right? So this is all about healing our hearts, and probably one of the best ways to get there is to forgive ourselves, forgive others, all the trespasses against us, even the big ones, because, we do things also, and most of the time, things that harmed us emotionally weren't done intentionally. And even if they were, you're still here, and they can't really harm your soul. And you need to let go of that wounding, that inner child, right? Needs to integrate. And the best way to do that is to forgive, and forgive ourselves for not protecting ourselves in that, and move through it. Let the grief come up, the fear, the pain, all the emotions, the anger about whatever's happened in your life, and just forgive it. And the older you get, generally the more things you have to forgive. And people need to remember that, right? That holding on to grudges and wounds, and my sister did this, my dad did that, this teacher did this, they said that, and they treated me like this, and it's like it's all in the past. It's not even the same person that you are now. It's just a memory, and the memory is just the only place it exists is in your head, right? Let that stuff go. It's not doing you any good to hold on to things that drag your frequency down. And the best way to open up your heart and experience more of your soul coming in is to open it up. And you're not going to do that if it's all caged off and walled in, right? You got to tear all that stuff down, and it can be scary. I know people think it'll protect them, but it doesn't. Things happen, right? Walling off your heart does not protect you. It just dampens your energy and your ability to love, to be there for others, right? So remember, if you really want to be a shining light for the world, you've got to let all that stuff go. It's just not helping in any way. So let's see what else the cards have to say about this concept. Birds of a feather. Finding our community, but not this came through a couple days ago. Seeing beyond the past injuries, pain, resentments, guilt, shame, all the negative emotions. We share them with everyone else. To me, this feels like our tribe, and not bonding together necessarily with others that have experienced the same traumas. And that can be supportive for a while, but then that can also become your identity. I'm the wounded one because of this, and that's not going to help you open your heart. So you need to remember to let that stuff go, and then bond together with other people that have all different kinds of traumas. Everyone has traumas, whether we remember them or not. Things that hurt us as a child or whenever, especially when we were a kid, because most of the time we don't even remember them, right? But they get stored in our subconscious, and we need to let this stuff go. And the best way to do is forgive it, right? Open it up and just let it go. Apologize to yourself for letting these things happen. Ask for its forgiveness as well. The inner child needs to feel safe. So, and then you'll be able to bring in this inner knowing, the seeing beyond what happens to the vessel and how we emotionally process it, and be able to let that stuff go and see to a higher perspective, right? Exactly. A higher view. So taking the higher view on a lot of this stuff, and instead of saying why me, it's like, well, why not me? Everybody has something happen that affects them negatively, and usually it wasn't done on purpose to harm you forever, or to hurt you emotionally. It's just these things occur, right? These fears and angers and resentments get stored up, and we can't possibly hope to be able to expand out and see beyond all this stuff if we're closing in and keeping the bud from opening, keeping our hearts from expanding out and connecting up with the other souls that are opening their hearts in this incarnation, right? So if you want to connect with others that are on this opening and awakening path, you need You need to let all that stuff go. It doesn't matter what they did. It's how you process it, right? They'll have their own issues to deal with, and maybe they can forgive themselves, maybe not for what they did, but for your part in it, keeping that anger and resentment and hurt in rather than letting it go is more harmful than good, and it keeps you feeling disconnected from source. And that's not what we want to do, especially in these times. We want to connect to our higher self and to source. And we want to feel that connection in our daily lives, but we have to be open to do it. And you can't open the heart when it's in a cage, when it's walled off and protected. You've got to stop protecting it. Let the pain and the traumas pass through. If you need to reprocess them then at this age, whatever age you may be, from childhood, let it through. But then stand up and say, okay, I'm not that kid anymore, and I'm not going to live, experiencing life as a little kid anymore. I've grown, and now my heart can expand and grow too. And remember that hopefully others can forgive and move on from their traumas too that you may have caused, right? Nobody's perfect. And then we get happiness. Exactly. And it doesn't matter what other people do or what happens to us. It's an inner state of happiness, of the heart as light as a feather, right? That's what we're shooting for. And that's the whole title of the whole program. Yes, forgiveness. Getting over all of this right now. It's not so much getting over it, but acknowledging things happen. I was harmed emotionally or otherwise, and it's in the past. It's done. I survived, right? But you don't need to make that your identity now of I'm a survivor of this, I'm a survivor of that. That keeps you attached to that thing, that emotion, that occurrence that happened in the past, and it's done. Let it go, right? You gotta forgive if you're gonna reach up. Reach up to the stars, and we can't do that if we're cowering in a hole somewhere, saying "poor me, right? Everybody's got that stuff going on. And yes, this is really beautiful. Supporting energies here, finding that freedom to soar, but also with community, right? Acknowledging that everyone's had traumas, everyone's been through something, right? But there's a lot of happiness and good stuff on the way. Even if you're struggling right now, let it go. And so much of addiction and everything else in this life that people experience, it's self-loathing and regret usually, and they're numbing themselves from the pain or not wanting to look into their hearts and let things go, and they're still holding on to their traumas, and they're not really processing it, right? So if you're doing anything like that, that's a way to, that's kind of a spiritual bypass, but you're not letting all the darkness come out, the negative emotions and feelings and things that you've done and said in your life. You need to see those as well. And then any regret or grief you have about having done those things, you got to let it go. Take a higher view that you weren't perfect any more than anyone else. And then you move into seeing beyond this and getting into reaching up, connecting with source, and being free. Nobody can harm us if we're free in our souls, right? And we are free. I mean, in our hearts, we have to expand out to remember that we're free, that, okay, maybe we signed up for, or maybe not, I don't know, signed up for these things to occur in this life, and they've been hard, and some people have a worse time than others, but we're all here doing the best we can, and that's all we can do. But there's so much good on the way if you just open up to it and quit, step out of the 5-year-old kid that you used to be and become the expanded soul that you are. Step into your maturity, let's say. And then change can come through, even frivolous change, imaginary stuff kind of coming in. Very nice. I should have put a couple cards first, but that's okay. For some reason, I wanted to do the bottom first. So this kind of goes along with a card that's been coming through a lot lately of merriment, leaning back into kind of that childlike wonder, that joy in little things, that imaginary sort of feeling that comes through when you're in flow. Right? Purification, that's another one that's been popping up a lot lately. That's what the collective is going through currently, and that's what we need to be doing right now, is letting go of all this, the dark things in our psyches, in our subconscious. Maybe they're bubbling up here and there, but we usually stamp them back down. But what we need to do is let them come up, let them pass through, and let them go. And then we can open our hearts again, because pretty much everyone's hearts are closed these days, and that's kind of by design. But the more we let that stuff go, and some will say, well, I can't let it go because they did a horrible, horrible thing. Yes, they did, but do you want to let them win by destroying you forever? I mean, if nothing else, do it to open up your heart again, just to show them that they didn't take what's the most important part of you, and that's your heart. And then step back into relaxation. I love that moon. That's beautiful. Let it go and just relax into the all, the source energies coming through, and we can just absorb them into our hearts when they're open to it, right? That's what we really need, is an open heart. Let's see, one more. It feels like it needs to come through here. The Queen. Okay, we have another moon coming up. We have a snake, a lotus expanding, and a red stone of some form. This is all root chakra kinds of stuff. Security, safety, that whole fear of death stuff coming up. Snakes are transformation. The lotus opening there again. We're in the middle of a transformation right now as a collective, as humanity, right? And some of us are expanding our consciousness, opening our hearts, and living, without fear, getting rid of the fear that's been holding us down. Thinking that if we hide in a hole and wall off our hearts, that somehow we'll be safe. Well, it doesn't save you from getting hurt again, but closing your heart does keep you from ever expanding and feeling that connection with Source. And that's more important. So opening your heart up, allowing that other people, other situations, the world in general, what's going on, things can hurt your feelings, can hurt you emotionally. Let it pass through. Feel the hurt, let it go, and forgive it. And then if you can connect into Source, you'll start feeling other things too, not just hurts coming in, but you can also feel more of the connection and love amongst all of us, amongst humanity, and that's where we're going. So if you want to feel more of the good and the connection with source, you've got to let the dark, the root chakra things go, the heaviness, the survival, the all that heavy, dense, three-dimensional kind of physical stuff that we get stuck in, right? Let it go, and then we can rise through. And you got your sacral coming up. So the higher we go with letting go and we transform, the more that we'll feel into our freedom through forgiveness. So if this message resonated with you, give us a like and subscribe. That'd be great. Have a good day.